Hi, everybody. My name is James Daire. I am an Associate Director of Legal here at Yelp, where I work on matters relating to litigation as well as policy issues. I am a member of the Yelpability org. Yelpability, for those that don't know it, is a Yelp employee resource group that's focused on issues of access and accessibility for the differently abled members of our community. And as I think about protecting the source, I think about the building blocks and the foundation that both led me to this work and that helped me grow up. And for me, that origin story starts with the fact that I was born with a mild case of cerebral palsy in the right side of my body, which for me manifested as only being able to make a fist until I was about 2 or 3, and having to be in physical therapy until I was about 6 or 7, and wearing a leg brace. And I remember really hating physical therapy at the start, not wanting to do it, my mom forcing me to do it, and feeling sorry for myself that most of my friends could go out and play and not have to deal with thrice weekly physical therapy. A lot of the people that were in physical therapy with me were in wheelchairs and had a lot harder time doing any of the physical therapy exercises. And I started to realize that my case was mild. I had the ability to do some exercises, and I was not affected by mobility or access issues. And a lot of my friends in the class weren't in that situation. So that was the first time in my life I remember feeling a real sense of perspective about my place. When my little brother was born, he was born with a partially severed optic nerve and was legally blind. And that created a whole other set of challenges for our family, including basic things like mobility at school. I remember when I was in 4th grade, he was in kindergarten, and one of my jobs was to show him around our elementary school, which, again, for me, when I started, was no big deal. I could see, I had the perspective to be able to go where I wanted to go and do what I wanted to do. Kevin, my brother, didn't have that, and I had to show him around. I was loaded for bear, thinking that the kids would be making fun of Kevin because he was so different from everyone else at that school. But mostly what we encountered was a sense of curiosity. Kids just wanted to know more about his situation and asked questions, but asked questions in a judgmental way, or didn't make fun of Kevin. And it was a lesson for me that that sometimes your perspective can be skewed and people can surprise you. The other interesting thing about growing up with Kevin was he never really felt like he had a sense of place in regular school, because he was often called out to do things like learn Braille and take mobility classes so that he could learn to walk with a cane. Again, things that other kids didn't have to do. And he didn't really have a sense of place in the world until we moved from Louisiana, where we lived till I was 6 or 7, to California. And that's when he was able to go against his wishes, just like I went to physical therapy against my wishes, but because of our mom, to the California School for the Blind in Fremont, California. That's where Kevin really got a sense of place for the first time. He was enrolled in all sorts of extracurricular activities, including wrestling, where they would often take on the California School for the Deaf, which was right next to the School for the Blind in Fremont. And I remember one time coming home from my after-school job, Kevin was already at home because he was boarded during the week, and he would come home on Friday afternoons. He was already plugged into his video games with his headphones on, and I had noticed that he had some medals around his neck, like Olympic-style medals, which was odd for a Friday afternoon. So I pulled off his headphones and asked him, "Kevin, what's with the medals?" And he replied very succinctly, "Joined wrestling, took out some deaf kids." And I remember the smile on his face as he said it. He was pretty short with me, but I remember feeling like, oh, he's really got a community at the California School for the Blind, and that he really felt like he belonged to a group for the first time that I could remember. When I think about protect the source, I think about foundational building blocks and that are required to protect things that you care about. And I think about my mom and her lesson that protection sometimes meant pushing. And it meant pushing in a few different ways. The first was understanding that our environment in Louisiana didn't allow Kevin and I to have a sense of community and a sense of perspective and a sense of belonging, and to push us to leave Louisiana and get to California where Kevin could go to the California School for the Blind. It also meant pushing us when I didn't want to do therapy when I was 3 years old, and when Kevin didn't want to start being boarded in Fremont instead of going to the local high school. But in the end, my mom was right. Pushing meant protection. And that's what I think about when I think about Protect the Source. I wouldn't be where I am. My brother would not be where he is without our mom making sure that we had the foundational building blocks to overcome our mobility obstacles and to really find our place in the world. So thanks, Mom.